Ladies and gentlemen, Tucker Carlson came out with some more video this evening. We're going to get to that. Hit subscribe to this channel right now. We're almost at 204,000 subscribers. To my super chat, Dr. Tanyo, Lynn B. Thank you so very, very much. We're going to get to what Tucker Carlson to my super chat, thank you. So, D'Artagnan, Lynn, everybody here. I cannot do these live streams without you, ladies and gentlemen. Your super chat support is greatly appreciated. Alice, everyone here, Eric, thanks everybody for tuning in. Hit subscribe. We're almost at 204,000 subscribers. You might be the 204th. It might be 204,000 subs. You might be the one to get me to 204,000 subs. Ladies and gentlemen, they're trying to say, do not believe your lying eyes. Don't believe your lying eyes. It was really the end of the world. It was Pearl Harbor. It was the Battle of Antietam. Don't you understand? It was the greatest obstacle to our democracy. You must vote Democrat. If you don't vote Democrat, oh my goodness, just keep watching MSNBC and CNN. Was it a terrible day that I condemn? Yes. I condemn that day. Terrible day. Paul Bartlett, thank you. Thank you, Paul. Thank you. I condemn that day. Thank you, Paul, for your support always. Was it a terrible day? Absolutely. CNN, what to know about Tucker Carlson's January footage? The narrative has been completely obliterated. They showed you only one part of the chaotic event. It was chaos, mayhem, terrible day. It was also a day of people being allowed into the building. Why don't Democrats, Kinzinger, Cheney, and others explain why people were allowed into the building? Why were they allowed to walk throughout the building in a calm and methodical manner? Why? Why were they? How on earth is the Washington Post going to only? I mean, you have all of this. It's misleading. There's nothing misleading. It gives you the entire story. It was a terrible day, but not as evil and nefarious as what Democrats have tried to paint the day as being. And that's basically what this is all about. It was a terrible day. Okay, but you had this day throughout that summer, and I support why people demonstrated peacefully that summer. But NBC News, if Speaker McCarthy falsely depicts Tucker Carlson, how can you falsely depict anything? How on earth can you falsely depict people walking throughout the corridors of that building? How can you falsely depict people walking through corridors? Does that make any sense at all? How on earth can you falsely depict people walking through corridors? Ben! Thank you so very much, Ben! Like waiting any dash cam video on a car wreck, it will change the outcome because the video has no agenda. Great work, AG. Much aloha, Ben. Aloha, Ben. Thank you. Thank you, Ben. Greatly appreciated, Ben. Exactly. You're getting the full picture. And a police body cam, Ben, same thing. I support law enforcement. Every once in a while, an officer does something he or she shouldn't do. Most of the time, it exonerates the officer. Most of the time, body cam footage exonerates the officer. There are channels on YouTube with body cam footage that exonerate the officers. Ben, thank you so very much. Paul, thank you. So you have video footage of people being allowed into the building. Okay, you have video footage of people being allowed into the building. Why didn't we see that? Why weren't we allowed to see that footage? The story is now completely and utterly obliterated. And that's the problem with Democrats and media. That's why people don't trust the media. They don't trust the media because there's a specific agenda and object. It's not about truth. The truth was that it was a bad day. Was it as bad as what Democrats tried to depict it as? No. Was it as bad as any number of days? During Trump's last year in office, you had a good what was it? Was it May 22nd, March or May 22nd, where the president of the United States of America had to get into a bunker, and then they were mocking Trump. Senior Tulupin, hello. Ben, thank you again. Greatly appreciated. Aloha, thank you. Paul, thank you. To my super chat, I cannot do this without you. The truth about the Democratic Party makes you vote Trump. That is just the reality of the situation. The truth about the Democratic Party, the truth. You have a situation, Aaron, hello. You have Brian, hello. You have the reality is that it was a bad day. Was it a day where they tried to overthrow the country? No. Did Trump try to devour democracy? No. And then you have some people trying to compare this. They're trying to say that Ashley Babbitt, who lost her life, is the same type of situation as a young man in Wisconsin who was being chased by three people. I think two of the three or three of the three had criminal records. Do you not see the video of the young man being chased? How on earth is that the same thing as an unarmed woman? And by the way, they were armed. Two of them were armed also. By the way, illegally. So you have a situation where the truth, the reality, peanut the butter, hello. The reality is that everything that they stood for a year and a half, 2 years, Kinzinger selling signed copies for $100 of the report. You have Adam Kinzinger getting $100 for signed copies. Okay, and then you get Chuck Schumer, bald-faced lie. How on earth is the footage that we saw a lie? What is a lie about people walking calmly throughout the Capitol? How on earth is that like Pearl Harbor? And this is the problem also with people, like even historians. They either lack knowledge of history or they're so apoplectic when it comes to Trump that they will willingly distort historical record just to go after Trump. Is this like Pearl Harbor? How was January an assault or a crime against our democracy? Our democracy existed before and after. It was a chaotic event. It was as much of a crime against democracy or an assault on democracy as every single day that summer. How on earth are curfews within every major city okay with democracy? I agree with why people peacefully demonstrated that summer, but you have, I mean, when you have selective memory and amnesia when it comes to events that you had CNN claiming that um you had CNN claiming that it was fiery but mostly peaceful. Here you have, let's see, CNN fiery but mostly peaceful, but here let's just look at, I'm going to try to find in another window, Trump bunker hid. Okay, here you have May 31st, Forbes. Okay. So here here is a here you have public record yet again. Trump took shelter in a bunker. As that was not an assault on democracy when the president of the United States had to, because a church within DC was torched and there were protesters that tried to do almost exactly what the people in January were doing. That's okay. And look how Trump hid from protests in underground bunker. So that's okay. The president of the United States. Then CNN goes after him. Trump's Trump's bunker story tells you everything you need to know. They mocked him when there was chaos and political violence against Trump. It was just a story that they ran with. Oh, look, the president is hiding. Is that not an assault on democracy? How do these people look at the world? The world is only filtered through the sensibilities of morally superior, oftentimes apoplectic liberal Democrats. You have it right here. CNN. Trump's bunker story tells you everything you need to know about him. Well, what does it tell you? Okay, so you have a situation where it was May or it was sometime in May where people weren't peaceful, and here you have more than 9,000. This is more than 9,300 people arrested over days of nationwide, and that's okay. That's just fine. This is the Associated Press. That's just okay. Did Kinzinger cry about this? 9,300 people. There were 14,000 total arrests that summer. How on earth is this okay? Rob White! Rob! Raskin, leave that man alone. Leave it alone. Free. I agree with you. From the Gulag video shows truth. I agree with you, Rob. A number of people should be freed. I mean, here's the thing also, like people are getting on Trump for not what was he supposed to do? He got no support. I don't know if he had the video of the Tucker Carlson video. So I don't know I don't know how he could have freed anyone at that or pardoned anyone without the video. So let's see. Secret Service 2020. I agree with you, Rob. Thank you. And look at the New York Times. As protests and violence spill over, Trump shrinks back. Really? Nervous for his safety, Secret Service agents abruptly rushed the president underground bunker. So why? So this is okay? How do you justify this? I mean, it's public record what was going on. The chaos and mayhem all throughout that summer, and nobody cared. Well, I mean, in media, nobody cared because it suited their narrative, and because it was for a cause that was a noble cause. You had all of this property damage, chaos, mayhem, people losing their lives. But if the Secret Service says, yeah, the president is at risk, his life is at risk, how on earth do you get to judge and you can judge January, but then you don't judge that summer? And this happened all throughout the summer. Play to win 1958, thank you. Rob, thank you. Play to win 1958, thank you. Love Trucks, just you being here is everything I need. Thank you, Love Trucks. Thank you. Greatly appreciated, Love Trucks. I appreciate your support. I'm just glad you're here, Love Trucks. Thank you. Look how they try to mock Trump. Look what they try to do to mock Trump. This is why people will vote for half the electorate, almost half will always choose Trump because the media lied so much. It's public record. It happened in May. And then Snopes. And then they went after him. See, this is here, the Atlantic. Look how the Atlantic tried to just distort everything that took place. Trump is frightened of protest. No, he's frightened of violence, which is what happened. And in all of these articles, they never really explain what happened that in May, but it got very chaotic. The real question is why were this is the Christian Science Monitor. The Associated Press, the way they describe the chaos and mayhem when it suited a political narrative, it was unbelievable. And I agree with why people protested peacefully in that summer, but not with all of this. They didn't talk about the actual mayhem and chaos. The abrupt decision by agents? It wasn't an abrupt decision, underscored the rattled mood. This is why the Associated Press has also become an extension of the Democratic Party. It wasn't an abrupt decision. It was a decision that was made because of the reality on the ground. Mayhem, chaos, just like in January, that forced the President of the United States to go into a bunker. And they mocked him and they mocked him. And then they mocked Josh Hawley when everyone else was fleeing also. And then they said, oh, Josh Hawley riled up people. You didn't prove anything in a court of law. You couldn't prove anything in a court of law. Nothing Trump ever said made anyone do anything criminal. Johnny, hello. Play to win 1958. Thank you again. Play to win 1958. Thank you. Rob, thank you. I agree with you. And so, yes, here's the thing. It's like, because the underlying reasons for chaos and mayhem were the people protested for reasons that were noble that summer, but there was violence. Okay? Here, does this not look like violence? This was violent. 50 Secret Service agents injured. How on earth? This is May 20, this is May 31st, 2020. How on earth is that okay? This is the sun. Did Kinzinger cry about the 50 Secret Service agents injured in May of 2020? I don't think so. I think he only sheds tears when it suits a Democratic narrative. Was he worried about Trump's safety? What about these photos? All these scenes of chaos This is like championed that summer. How was this different? This political chaos. Yes, I understand the cause is noble and the cause was purely political in like the causes are different. Yes, different causes. I know. Different reasons to demonstrate. I know. But that's one day in January. This is an entire summer of all of this mayhem and chaos, and it was championed by media. And then you have Flame we're seen throwing bottles and Molotov, you know what, at law enforcement officials. How on earth did the January committee not look into this? Dozens of Secret Service officers were injured. This is the U.S. Sun. Diane Stewart! Diane, thank you! Good to hear you again, HA. Thank you, Diane. Thank you. Thank you, Diane. Greatly, greatly appreciated. Love the profile pic as well. Thank you, Diane. Thank you very, very, very much. Play to win 1958. Thank you again. 50 Secret Service agents injured. Not one Hollywood celebrity, not one Lincoln Project person, not one person at CNN seemed to care. And if anything, at CNN, they were saying fiery but mostly peaceful. It's fiery but mostly peaceful. Judith! Judith Gurian, thank you! Thank you, Judith! Judith, Diane, thank you so very much. I can't do this without you. Thank you. Greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate it. To my super chat, I cannot do this without you. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, Diane. Thank you, Judith. 50 Secret Service agents. This is the Sun. And look at, does this look, how on earth, this looks even more chaotic than January. And this happened all throughout. And I understand, look, I support why people demonstrated peacefully that summer. I support that. But I don't support $1 to $2 billion inside Trump's secret bunker. So you have the reality of a double standard. This is a May 31st. A May 31st in the U.S. Sun. The U.S. Sun. And let's just do Secret Service agents injured. Secret Service agents injured. More than 60 were injured. Wow. This is CNN. More than 60 U.S. Secret Service uniformed division officers and special agents were injured. Not one tear shed by an Illinois congressman. Not one tear. Not even any moisture, nothing. CNN on Twitter, over 60 U.S. Secret Service officers, at least 50 Secret Service. Not one. Here you have June 7th, 150 local and federal officers injured in D.C. protests. More than 750 were injured, I believe, through either. I mean, was that in D.C.? Let's look at that. You had 750. This is according to WUSA 9. I think it's a CBS affiliate. At least 150 at least 150 local and federal officers, and throughout the country, 750 officers. That's just said on June 7th throughout the first week of demonstrations. It went on through the entire summer. You had to have well over 2, 3, 4,000 officers injured in some manner throughout the country. So it's right there. And this is an article June 11th. It went on June, July, August. And where was the January committee? Where were they? How do you justify the reality of 750 officers injured, and then you talk about democracy? Ken Burns, I love Ken Burns. I think he's a brilliant filmmaker. Ken Burns says, "Oh, the footage is terrible. It's like a Potemkin village." No, it's not. It actually happened. It was real. There was nothing fake or phony about the actual footage, and it showed that although bad, although terrible, you did have people allowed into the building, and you have one person who is getting 4 years for being escorted throughout that building. I wonder what all of these people in Hollywood would feel if they were asked about the 750 officers during the first week of demonstrations in June who were injured. Is that an assault on democracy? KM, hello. Paul, I agree. 750. That's just the first week. And then we have to talk about democracy and these lofty, esoteric, idealistic discussions about our republic. Our republic. I wonder what our people who care so much about our republic think about the thousands of officers that summer who were injured. Do they care about our republic then? This is, by the way, the Lincoln Project influenced. You have people who actually don't even like symbols of the country talking about how they want to protect the country from, big bad Republicans. Meanwhile, they wouldn't even find out what the origins were of you know what because they were so petrified Trump would be right about that. So they did exactly what what the national security of that country uh, demanded, which was don't talk about the origins. Trump could be right. Oh my God! So you have Pete. Hello. You have 750, but then also, there were so many articles here. It's right there. People are clashing. That's okay. It's okay to clash with officers, but it's not okay to clash when you're a it's okay to clash if you're doing so for a good purpose and you're a good liberal, but not if you're um, a big bad conservative. It's bad either way. And then, of course, the Washington Post. There was no, on the White House, but according to anyone's standards, there was. It's pretty unbelievable how you can have these officers injured, and the Washington Post says, "Nah, no, it wasn't a big problem." How on earth was there no attack on the White House if you have 67 Secret Service officers injured and 750 by June, or no, 150 by June? Officers that we just saw, and 750 throughout the country. How on earth? I mean, I can't really see the article, but it's always, it's not that big of a deal. With Trump, it's not that big of a deal. More than 700 officers injured. That's not an assault on democracy. Is that okay for democracy? Just say, here's the thing. If you believe it is, then say it. If CNN and the Washington Post believes it is, then say it. So during that period, the 8,700, 574 were declared okay. 574. That's just within a certain time period. That's just within between May 25th and July 31st of that year. 574 were declared with criminal acts. Gee, great for democracy. Again, not one tear shed by Never Trumpers. I mean, this is an article here. Police Chief Association releases number of officers injured nationwide during protests. This doesn't seem very peaceful. I mean, most of it was peaceful. Yes, it's true. But if you want to describe things in that nature, most of January, according to CNN, was peaceful. 624 arsons were reported. 97 police vehicles were destroyed. 97 police vehicles. Is that good for democracy? That's just within a couple week period from what I can see. Not from May 21st to the 31st. 97 police vehicles and 624 arsons? Are you kidding me? I mean, this takes a second. Again, I support why people peacefully demonstrated. Okay, I think that um trying to say this so the algorithm, I do think the man was murdered. I believe that George Floyd was murdered. And I understand circumstances and all of that, but I do believe that it was a terrible, terrible thing. I support law enforcement, and I believe that almost always, most of the time, law enforcement does the right thing. In that case, it wasn't right. But how do 97 police vehicles being destroyed make how does that address the injustice? It doesn't. It created more chaos and it did literally nothing to help anyone's life. And the underlying cause might have been noble, a peaceful, like to peacefully demonstrate, but this was totally from the liberal perspective an assault on a democracy. I thought this type of thing was an an assault on our republic. 97 vehicles destroyed. How on earth? I mean, you have this is just one article, WDRB.com. Here you go. I mean, it's right here. It's unbelievable. Democrats didn't care. And this is the Daily Mail. More than 4,100 people were arrested in one weekend. In one weekend! Protesters on Sunday set fires just mere feet from the White House. And this was going on in everywhere from San Francisco to Philadelphia. The Democrats didn't care about our democracy then. Aria, hello. Spectrum is hello. So it is just unbelievable. And it was completely ignored. And and a person, when confronted with this, cannot make any correlation. It is a completely different. And here you have the truth yet again. He cleared Lafayette Square. He cleared Lafayette Square. Oh my God. Oopsie. Trump's 2020 wasn't the reason he park cleared Lafayette. Yet another lie about Trump. I mean, all they've done is nobody lies more. Nobody lies more than media about Trump. Trump has never told a lie compared to all the lies told about him. And it's like they make a big deal about Trump lying, and what he does usually is engage in hyperbole. Most of the things he says are actually true. I mean, really, like his greatest lies are not, pale in comparison to the usual lies of Biden and Hillary and all of them. They just lie all the time. I think Hillary Clinton will be the 24 nominee, by the way, for the Democratic Party. So you then have it's a lie. The narrative. He distorts the narrative. Yeah, the narrative was not true. Alan! Alan Harkin! Been away. I just returned from cruise. Nice. So awesome to be able to hear your perspective of someone with sense. President Goodman. Haha, thank you. Thank you, Alan. I hope you enjoyed the cruise. Hope you had a fantastic time, Alan Harkin. Thank you as always. Greatly, greatly appreciated. And I appreciate your support greatly. Thank you, Alan. Yeah, I mean, this is just like what's happening with CNN, Alan, and Chuck Schumer and the Democratic Party is like the last couple scenes in The Wizard of Oz when they pull the curtain and it's, oh my God, it's you. It's just, that's it. Because the whole point was be afraid, be very afraid, be very afraid. This is the thing. They always overstep their boundaries in terms of, they always move the goalpost, make absurd leaps of logic. It was an assault on our democracy. We had hundreds of vehicles torched, thousands of injured police throughout that summer. I mean, that entire summer was chaos, pure chaos. That was an assault on democracy. If you want to, because that's not supposed to happen on during a in a democracy or a republic. And it happens, but it happens with it's facilitated by media. Alan, thank you again. Greatly appreciated. It's just unbelievable how the narrative, what Tucker Carlson did, and he was supposed to actually show more videos tonight, but what he did was completely and utterly destroy the completely and utterly destroy the narrative. I mean, completely and utterly destroy the narrative. They were trying to sell a lie by omission. It was a lie by omission. Okay? A lie by omission. If you do not know the video footage, by the way, was actual footage of people walking. One person walking. I mean, it's right there. It's right there. The footage was not. You can't say that you didn't see. Like, what did these people say? I mean, the detractors, when they say Tucker Carlson's lying, do they not see people walking? What does that mean? Do they not see? Do they? Great, that's going to be the algorithm. Do they refrain from seeing people actually walking? Are they unable to view people walking calmly and peacefully throughout the building with law enforcement officials there? I mean, I don't understand. I don't really understand when they say, "Oh, it's lies. Tucker Carlson's lying. Tucker Carlson is lying." It's like, well, what is he lying about? I mean, do you not? I mean, do people not see? Are people unable to view that there were demonstrators that were supposed to be, and they use the I word. It's an I. I'm not going to use the word because then it's. But do they not see the man with the hat and the costume just nine walking past nine uh law enforcement officials? You have a man who is serving 4 years in prison. Do I agree with I was one of the first people. I think I was the first person in media to say, "Do not listen to the absurd message board. It's very, very dangerous." But does this man deserve 4 years? 4 years? I mean, you're getting 4 years in prison, and you're being just walked around with officials there. It really doesn't make any sense at all. I don't get it. Other than like I mean, you had 14,000 arrests that summer. You had Democrats bailing out demonstrators, and one person gets 4 years in prison for walking throughout the building alongside officers, actually passing nine officers, and they're fine. I don't get that. Karen, hello. Exactly. Paul Bartlett, I am the navigational algorithmist. Ha ha. Paul, thank you as always. Oh, absolutely. No, I agree with you. He was forced to plead guilty because they probably intimidated him. They intimidated him. And, it absolutely, it's like a house of cards. Exactly, Arya. It's all collapsing. And I not tell people? I didn't know I didn't know about this. What I'm just saying. I said this year you're going to see a complete sea change, a complete change. The whole thing, the whole story. Even here's what's so amusing about here's what's so amusing about um what happened, the Tucker Carlson footage. By the way, I think DeSantis will be Trump's vice president pick. I think that's pretty much set in stone. But here's what's so amusing. Everyone now knows. Even Democrats know. They're on the defensive for the first time in a long time. Everyone knows. Every single person on the planet knows that Democrats have lied. Every single day for the past 2 years. Made like this is the thing. They keep saying Trump lies, but then we find out that they've lied infinitely more than Trump ever did. And you can't even really I can give you a list right now of major lies that were told. Hillary had servers for convenience and for yoga. Lie. I mean, the most absurd lies about national security. Biden never met with Hunter's associates. Of course he did. That's why they were working with Hunter. You have, um, oh, Trump was a Russian operative. Lie. Okay, what are the greatest lies Trump was told? They'll say, "Oh, he downplayed you know what." No, he didn't. He didn't downplay anything. You can actually point to actually bureaucrats who were saying the exact same thing. Insubordinate, hello. Yes, Chris, they can. They can. They have to file paperwork. Cheney I think, was a resident of Texas, and so he filed paperwork to be on a ticket with George Bush. So Jupiter, hello. So, ladies and gentlemen, you have a situation. You have um, the narrative is has evaporated within a day. It took one day. Think about this for a second. It took one day. Every day they tried their best. And by the way, there was footage that people saw throughout the past 2 years. There was footage that people saw throughout the past 2 years of people just walking in. And then all you heard was Democrats, this is worse than the Battle of Antietam. This is worse than the Pearl Harbor. This is worse. Oh my God, our republic. Our republic. What about that summer? Always use whataboutism with Democrats because they always overstep their boundaries and they created the word whataboutism. It's called hypocrisy. Whenever you hear the word whataboutism, it used to be called about like what, yesterday, hypocrisy. But Democrats usually have to alter the English language, create euphemisms on, spur of the moment. Like there are words that were created that were utilized just the past couple of years that now everybody needs to utilize. Like, no, not really. These aren't even these are words, these are like made up phrases and euphemisms and description. I'm not even going, oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. But you have all of these, like, if you actually speak without utilizing euphemisms, you defeat most liberal arguments. Most. Okay. You could say like Second Amendment control, euphemism. I'm using it's not the exact phrase, but environmental crisis, euphemism. These phrases don't really have a specific meaning, but they're all encompassing. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much. I will be here tomorrow at around 9 p.m. like this evening. And so everyone here, please be back tomorrow at 9 p.m. And um exactly. I'll be back tomorrow live stream at 9 p.m. I'm working, ladies and gentlemen, on setting up interviews. So I'm working with a tech person to start setting up live stream interviews because it used to be so easy to do interviews with Google Hangout back in the day. But now you have like OBS and Zoom and Skype, and it's not difficult, but I'm just working with somebody to make sure everything um, works out well. So I'll be having hopefully some really amazing interviews soon with some awesome people. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. You are all awesome. I'll see you tomorrow at 9 p.m. Be here tomorrow. I'll do a upload tomorrow at around 9 a.m. So be here for the upload at